Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. I'm super excited today because I have with me a guest who I have admired for several years now. She has been on the Olympia stage several times. She won the Arnold Classic in women's physique in 2016, and she is a doctor of physical therapy. So without further ado, here is my interview with IFBB Pro, Autumn Swansen. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Autumn, we're going to talk today a little bit about your background and how you got into bodybuilding. You've been kind of shifting back and forth with figure and women's physique. I want to talk a little bit about where you think women's physique is going and what's up with all that, with what happened with the Olympia, and everything that's about your journey and where you're headed for with 2021. So to get started, what is your background?
Okay, sorry, I was making you bigger. So it's more like I'm talking to you and not myself. My background, what do you mean by that? Professionally?
So what kind of athletics were you involved in as
Oh,
a
okay.
child? And
I started off gymnastics when I was like right at 3. And then I also did tap and jazz and ballet. And I did that for a solid 15 years because I remember I wanted so bad to get that 15-year award because you got like a little trophy when you were 15-year award at the annual recital. But then I didn't, because I really didn't enjoy the tap, jazz, and ballet that much. So I just did the gymnastics. I was on a gymnastics team that traveled to, I'm from a really small town. So I would, my mom would take me every Saturday morning, about 45 minutes away, so that I could be a part of a traveling gymnastics team practice. And then we traveled as well because there wasn't anything around. My funny story, my old gymnastics facility is now a Mexican grocery store. So like we didn't even have like tumbling floors or anything. So I started off in fitness. I From there I did like cheerleading. I kind of coupled that with gymnastics, and I danced in college actually because our cheerleading squad was not that great, and our dance team was. So it's kind of the opposite. I feel like most places, but yeah. So that was at Transylvania University in Lexington. I played soccer as well. I ran track for a little bit. Was that it? Yeah. So I was basically like president of everything in high school. And then when I got to college, I didn't want to do anything. I did do a sorority, but like I was like the least involved member. So I kind of went from doing everything to nothing, which was nice. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing? So yeah.
so what got you into weight training? And you said, so it seems like your background would transition you really well into fitness, the fitness
Yeah.
category. Did you?
Yeah, and that's what I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually started training very, very young. I was fortunate enough to live right next to our high school. So even before and after school and on the weekends, like I would sneak into the athletic training rooms, and we had I would like lift with the football team. I would lift with the girls basketball team because with the cheerleading, I mean, yeah, we did a lot in soccer. We did a lot of like body weight stuff, and we did a lot of cardio, but I was really drawn to the weights. Like, I don't even know why, just innately. And when I think back on who taught me how to lift weights, like, I don't even have anyone that taught me how. I was inspired a lot by my uncle was a power lifter, and so then my dad always had like weights in our basement and stuff, but it just came really natural to me. I never had anyone show me really. And then like before I knew it, I was like showing others. So I was the personal trainer, all through college and out of college, and then went to physical therapy school at UK. And here I am talking to you.
That's awesome. So when was
I
your
started off in fitness. Yeah, because you're exactly right. I was like, okay, I wanted to see, I met someone, I did pageants, and That wasn't really ever my thing, but my cheer coach like signed me up for it, and I did it for her. And I would only do well in like the swimsuit categories, or like if there was a fitness component. So I'm like, okay. And then I met a competitor at the Miss Kentucky. Her and I both won the swimsuit, and she was like Jack to me. Tina Rigdon. I think she danced or cheered professionally for like, I don't want to say the Dallas Cowboys and that be wrong, but somewhere. And I just remember she had like huge biceps. She was eating out of a Tupperware, and I had no idea what the lifestyle was about, like at all. And I was talking to her backstage and stuff, and she's just like, "Yeah, I compete, and you should just go to a show." So that's how I found out about it. And then I met with Julie Laurie, which was a figure pro, back in the day. I went to a show just by myself. I actually wore, because I was a personal trainer, but I didn't have any clue as to what level these people get conditioned. So I had on like a YMCA personal trainer shirt, like, like, oh, someone might inquire services. No, like I felt so out of shape and out of place. But it wasn't that I was fit, but I had no idea. I'm like, oh. So then I met Julie Laurie at that show, and she was just a drive for me. So I went and met with her and asked her if I had what it took. I just brought my swimsuit, and she's just like, "You look like this, like without trying." And I'm just like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Yeah, you're definitely cut out for this." So she was kind of my first mentor for a little bit. And then actually Beverly International, they're from Kentucky, and I would go to their posing clinics and do, they had, which you can still find it online if you're someone that's like wants to get into this and what it's all about. You can find their, if you just Google, probably still have it, honestly, in my filing cabinet over there. If you just Google bodybuilding, like Beverly International manual, bodybuilding manual, and it'll have like weights of females and males and like where to start and stuff. And yeah, I mean, still to this day, my husband and I are distributors for Beverly, even though like I'm with New Ethics now and other sponsorships, because they don't give sponsorships, but they have a lot of great products and stuff, and so we've continued to utilize them. And it's actually how my husband and I met, through their no nonsense newsletter that they do for free. For anyone too, that's a great place to start. So that's where I started, and this is where I ended up.
So when was your first, so you competed in fitness, when was your first competition? Oh, and also, have you been out of Indiana? Like, is that where you were born and raised? Where were you? Where are you from?
Kentucky. Okay. And I'm in Illinois. Yeah.
Illinois. So. Okay. All right. So first fitness competition, how old were you? What year was that?
So that was 2008.
Okay.
2008, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How did that go?
Well, that's the thing. So, yeah, I did really well. I did the Northern Kentucky, which, looking back, maybe they were biased because because that was sponsored by Beverly and stuff. But I wasn't in, it was just my very first show. But everyone was very down on me at the gym. Everyone said the Northern Kentucky, because it was huge. I mean, when they called us out, we were like 3 calls. Like now when I look back at that today, yeah. So I did the Northern Kentucky, and I not only won my class, but I won the whole show. Like I remember we were there like all night long, and I won the whole show, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you're national qualified," and da 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 da. And I was like, "What does that mean?" I had no idea, because my goal was just, I was doing the show. It was in Kentucky, so of course I'm going to do that because I'm just a broke little girl. I sold T-shirts to compete, and to Gene Good, that I go and guest post for him. I'll be guest posting for him in 2021, hopefully, if things pan out. But I've guest posted for him before. We still keep in touch. He's the first one that bought me a suit. Like he straight up sponsored me my first CJ suit, and obviously I continue to be with CJ ever since. And I've just met and utilized a lot of connections. Like now, just talking to you, like everything happens for a reason, and I don't take that very lightly. Like who I run into and things, like I just don't. I just really am like, okay, there's a reason for this. Let's take me down this trail and find out why. So it's just really cool that I've kept in touch with, everyone that's helped me along the way. So I forget what your original question even was.
Well,
um,
it
oh
sounds
yeah, the Northern. So that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that it sounds like you're super loyal. You know what I mean? Like you're just hanging on it for as long as you can to whoever has helped you to continue to help you along the way. I think that's really, I think that's really awesome. So anyways, how
Yeah, well, I know. I'm glad you said that because let's talk about that for a minute because a lot of people would vow differently now because I've had so many people help me now as coaches. And I I just think the window in this game is really short. If you're not getting the job done with someone, it's nothing personal, and I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of big names and I'm still friends and everything with those big names. I still use them today. So I know I feel I don't like how things have went and that I've had different coaches. I wouldn't say that, I've hopped around a whole lot with, like other people, but still, I hate that. I hate that. I wish so bad that, like, I mean, Brent honestly was my coach like forever. A funny story, and it'd be funny if he was watching this today. When I say at that Northern Kentucky, I can remember being there forever. I was with this real, whatever you want to call him, guy and jerk face. And I can remember like he was like complaining because we were there so long and I just won the whole thing. So, I mean, props to him. Like he got me started in all this. I feel like a lot of people get started with somebody that they were dating and stuff. So, I mean, he introduced me to the world of bodybuilding and, I've, I to like we're talking about utilizing who we have and why they're there. So I mean, I guess I thank him now, but I can remember, and now it's so funny because how we're all like paranoid about like not stressing out before shows and stuff. I kid you not, I can remember like was I in the bathtub or was he in the bathtub? I don't know. Or maybe I just threw the food in the bathtub. That's what it was. He was wanting me to go out to eat whatever I wanted. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know, that was a thing or whatever. And I was just like, no, like I can remember everyone that I went with, like they all went out to eat and stuff. And like, I didn't go. Like, I'm like, no. And I remember like throwing the food in the bathtub and like because we didn't really even talk about the plan and stuff and I was nervous. I mean, talk about not cheating on your diet ever. Like that whole prep, I can remember maybe twice, like, and I probably had like legit like hypoglycemia and like would have passed out and like it would have been bad. I can remember twice because I worked at the gym too, um, cheating on my diet with a protein bar, and I felt so terrible. Like I had to make up for it. Like when like that was just like an ant fart. But yeah. Okay. Once again, I forget the question, but sorry.
so you won the whole show for your fitness, and thankfully you're not with this guy who wasn't supportive. So
No, yeah, we like broke up like the night before, like, or how you say broke up or whatever. Like, cause I was just like done. I was done with him. I was like so stressed. It was not before my show. I just remember I didn't even want to ride back with them. I don't even think I did. We all rode there together, but I think because I had family and friends come, like I think that was like the last time we were even anything. So
so
yeah.
you won the overall. So you had decided you were going to do fitness. So who started helping you then for the next show, and how did the next show go? What happened after 2008? You won fitness.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you stay with fitness, and who coached you through?
I didn't have a true coach. I'm trying to think. I had a gymnastics, so my former employer and cheer coach and whatever else, Damon Hicks, who I still keep in touch with, and I'll still have him. He'll help me out with like music and choreography from time to time. Again, by that time he had moved away, but it was, within driving distance, and I would travel and go see him every weekend. I can remember like just hurting so bad. And he was in this building at the time. I guess things were really rough. I didn't ask. But like there was no heat. So it was so cold, or maybe he turned it off every weekend or kind of thing. And I mean, literally, like you could see the breath. And that's where it probably numbed my pain, because I was in very, very severe hip pain throughout all of that. And I can just remember crying in the bathroom and wiping my tears and let's go. And the drive was horrendous on my hip as well. But I pushed through it. He really helped me. So, yeah, it would have been Damon and and myself. I was just laughing because he's a black guy, and he would want to do crumping stuff, and he'd have me do crumping. I don't even know if I'm saying the right word. So here I am, like trying to do this.
Yeah.
And when I look back, like, yeah, no, I did not pull that off. He should have said nix that. But yeah, and then he connected me with other people. I did like a cool ninja routine. And so he connected me with a guy that we did like fans and stuff. Yeah, after that, once I got a handle on things, and I knew that I needed to change my style because my hip was not going to hold up. So I went back for like, just a lot slower, more on flexibility, more on strength moves rather than gymnastics, more on dance. And there was a guy.
So what was your next show? What was your next show after you won fitness in 2008? So when did you compete again?
I don't know. I Google it. I think I did. Well, I think I was getting ready for the fitness for junior nationals, and I sliced my hand open and I couldn't do fitness, and I did figure. And then, because I didn't compete that much. And then I said I'd never compete again. I can remember calling my parents, don't even come. And then the next year I competed fitness and I won the whole thing and turned pro. So yeah, and like then that was it. So then once I was in pro leagues, I was like done. I mean, I did like one show in fitness, and I mean my body just couldn't take it. I mean, props to these fitness girls that just stay in fitness. I love I love the fitness division. I love those competitors. Very genuine camaraderie there and everything, because we all know how hard it is, so we're all rooting for each other. So once I hit the fast track to the pros, then I knew I needed a different division. And
so
women's physique came out, and
yeah. So for people who don't know, if you turn pro, you're pro, and
yeah, I can go wherever. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have to requalify. I didn't have to do anything. So yeah.
But you turn pro in fitness and then compete, and you could compete in anything else because you're a pro.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't have to like turn pro and figure then now too. There. Okay.
No. Yeah. Just like when I sliced my hand open like weeks before, I just let them know like I got to do another category.
Yeah. So you started in figure, and then how many figure shows did you do before?
That was it. That was it, because
just one.
Yeah, because no, the Northern was figure. The Northern was figure, and then I did that junior nationals that one year. That was figure, and I remember.
Was that in what year was that then? So you were 2008, you did figure, then how many more, or fitness, and then how many more years was it that you did figure before? Because women's physique came out in what, 2011, 2012?
Yeah, 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you decided to go with women's physique.
I wish you would have. You did not prepare me. I don't know, people. I don't know. Look at my contest history. I really don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many shows I've done. Yeah, I haven't competed that much. I really haven't. So.
But you've been to the Olympia like
off of wins, just a win. I've never went on points.
Yeah.
I've won a show, and that's all that I've done. I always, yeah.
So 2016, it was that you won the Arnold Classic. And then
Yes.
how many more years did you, before you then transitioned to figure?
So 15, 16, 17, and 18. I went to those Olympias in women's physique.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're back at figure. Do you feel like women's physique what was the feedback from the judges?
Oh, I mean, it's always, get leaner, get tighter. But for me, it's always that one area, my glute hamstring area. And I don't know, I want to say everyone, I don't know, you hear so much. And I still to this day, it's the only personal goal I haven't met in bodybuilding is getting striated glutes. I know that sounds stupid. And it's like when I first started this, I didn't even know what a striation was. But as this has developed, like I see everyone else getting them and I'm like, oh, like, this is what I want. And, it's just funny because I can remember like no one had them. And then I showed up at the 2015 Olympia. That's the best I've ever done. That was the lean. Like, I love that look. And like after that, because I was lean, like I was one of the leanest ones. I got fifth. After that, I'm not even kidding you. And I was working with Manus Buckle, and he'll say it to this day. And like because we watched it all happen, and he studied. He's done all these show coverage and everything. He was like, "You just opened like a can of worms." And like after that, that's all it was about.
Yeah.
Was who could get the most condition. And then after that, like I couldn't get any leaner in certain areas, like, that I thought, I don't know. People will say whatever. And all I know is I've been competing for a really long time and it never happened for me. I've done a lot of different training. I've done a lot of different diet. I've done a lot of different everything, lifestyle. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've went in cold chamber, like any latest, thing I've tried. So I don't know what it is for me. But it does eat at me because I see it's achievable, props to the other people. But, I just felt like for me and where the division was at, I was barely even tight enough for figure. So what am I doing trying to do women's physique now with these people with veins all over and cross-striated and feathered glutes? What am I doing there? I did not belong.
Yeah.
The division had changed and it was just like, why am I chasing after this now this long? Like, it's not going to happen. If it was going to happen for me, it would have already happened, So every year I just kept thinking, okay, because, every year you do get a little bit leaner and you are able to retain that to a certain extent, but it's always random how your body wants to hold it. Like you'll be lean in one place, and, fat in another, and you're only as lean as your fattest body part. And it's just, yeah, it wasn't enjoyable anymore. And, actually the last 2 off seasons, like I got even heavier because I just didn't care. And I was just so fed up with it. And I actually and then it was more of a personal thing. Cause it was like, what am I doing? I'm not even doing bodybuilding anymore. Then I had to do like weight loss weight, I had to drop that much weight to compete. And it hasn't been fun anymore. So I just needed to do something different. And so I'm just doing figure now and I'm learning to walk in the hills and it's new challenges and new goals. And it's just something fresh. And I feel like it's achievable. It's within reach for me. If the striated glutes happen to show up, like I'm happy, which they have them in figure too, I'll do that much better in figure. Or if it's, I just don't think my body would ever have like dug out glutes. But if it decided to, I would certainly do women's physique again. I have nothing, against the division. I've always told people, you do the division that you fit in. Like, don't try to train I could never do bikini. Like, I love the bikini look. I love the wellness look. That's not my body type. Why would, you know what I mean? Like, so I lost audio, I think because I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, good.
I saw your mouth move and then nothing came out. So,
Sometimes it freezes up.
okay.
So this past year was probably kind of a nice break, right? It sounds like you've been going and going and going, and so maybe that was time for a little bit of a break. How did you handle things during the pandemic? Did you have gym access? What was going on?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually haven't skipped a beat, honestly. I mean, like work never stopped for me. Like our clinic, I mean, the only thing that changed for us is we couldn't double, triple, quadruple book patients, so it was a slowdown there at the clinic. But we actually are fortunate enough, my husband and I have some gym equipment. It's actually a cool story from the Ultimate Warrior. We have his old gym equipment. My husband was going to start a gym at one point and went in with a few buddies, and then it never took off. There was like a fire, so there was some damage, but it never took off. And so it's just at a warehouse and we have access to it. So we never missed a workout or anything. So we're really blessed.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why we like didn't post anything during the whole thing, because like, you know, that's pretty rude. Like,
Yeah. Well,
um,
a lot of
so
people were doing underground training, I think, too, just because,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
gyms that were open were getting ratted out by people who didn't want them to be, which was frustrating, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know. Like, and people traveling to, go work out and stuff, and all the home workout. And I mean, we have home equipment too, but yeah, I mean, we have pretty much everything. And I'm very, I'm not like, I'm very flexible and adaptable. I can make anything hard.
Yeah.
I mean, as a physical therapist, like you can, yeah. So my mind is, always very creative and finds a way. So I don't really stress over that. If we're at, a hotel or, with traveling and stuff, like it's not ever a concern of mine. So,
So what is it that you love about competing? What would you tell up and comers, you know?
well, this is funny that you asked this question, because honestly, I was just leaving the gym today and I have never in my life, I mean, all I usually answer this question is like, why do I compete? I always say, well, I mean, I'm able to, if basically in a non-arrogant way, but it's really the truth. If I hadn't have won and just kept winning, like, I mean, because yeah, when you win, that's fun. And like, you're like, oh, well, I guess like I'm meant to do this, I'm meant to do this with my life because I'm obviously good at it. So you just keep doing it. But I've never had an answer for anyone until today as to why I bodybuild. And it just hit me when I was driving home, because I knew, like, I try not to think about, like, what you're going to ask me. I mean, clearly, I don't even know when I've competed. But it just hit me on the way driving home, like, yeah, she's probably going to ask you, like, why do you compete? What are your motives? And I was just, it just hit me that I was thinking about, you're probably going to ask that. And then just the conversations I had at the gym and how it was today, and like who was in there, and like the things that we talked about. I was just like really filled that, like, oh yeah, and it's sometimes it takes like a slow day. I'm just in there on a Sunday when it's just slow pace. And it's the one thing you can carry with you. Like, you can carry with you from your childhood. Like, this has been in my childhood. Was, in my young adulthood, in my adulthood. This can go with me as I'm older, and later in life. And
Yeah.
it's like, wow, that's really cool that that's like one thing you can, do. And it makes you, it brings back such good memories and stuff. I mean, sometimes I'm like, gosh, like I've been doing the same thing in these same walls for so long. And you see so many people come and go. And, like usually I give people a hard time about it, because like Brent and I are still there doing the same thing, years later. But it's like, oh yeah, like that's why I do this, because it like without sounding cliche, like it completes you. Like it's something that, there's a lot of things you can't do your entire life. And I mean, there's going to come a point, where like I'll slow down and whatnot, but like, you know what I mean? Just realistically, like it can be a sport that like goes with you throughout your life. And like, the iron is just like different. Like it's not exercise, like it's just like an iron love that like, just like back in the day that just I was drawn to for whatever reason, and it can't be replaced. And yeah, so that's why I still do it, is because of how it makes me feel, and just it makes you still feel like a kid, like I think that what ages people is that, you know, like you don't stop playing. How's the saying go? You don't stop playing when you get old. You get old when you stop playing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because it sounds very much like Ronnie Coleman, you know what I mean? Like every time, even with his like surgeries and whatnot, the only thing that he looks forward to are is
Yeah.
getting back to
Yeah.
the gym every time, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, he's crazier, than and yeah, I mean, I commend him, because I don't know if I would still be that same way and that same mindset. But yeah, it's very commendable given what he's going through. But yeah, just keeping it simple, like keeping it simple. And there's just, in a time like today, and in the world, it's just like it can be so refreshing that it can be a simple playground for adults, like that's just how I've kind of looked at it. And I've taken it for granted. It's been like COVID has allowed me to like see that more. But it's definitely a special place. Just any and all gyms are like the same, like it can just go with you everywhere.
Yeah.
So
And it sounds like you've done, you've kind of tied all your childhood stuff into, something that you can do as an adult. So it sounds like, fitness was ingrained in you as a child and you found a way to express it as an adult, which
yeah.
a lot of people don't get to even
No.
appreciate
Like,
what their body
yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
I mean, what I've noticed too, as I, am getting well into my 40s now, it's like
No.
to really, they start to fall apart, and it's just as the body ages. So I'm really glad, and I'm sure that you're really glad too, for all of the, like, you look at the hardware behind you, all the memories that you've created, all of the things that you've achieved. It's incredible. And that's, that trophy case, I think, is going to keep growing.
Yeah, because like your sports, like your high school sports end, you have your senior night, and
Yeah.
then that's where it ends for a lot of people. Like, I guess it's similar to like, what's that cheer? I forget where all those people are at, but like, they keep going back just to cheer, like to they're not even in school, or they take one class or whatever, just because they want to cheer and that's what they want to do with their life. Like, most things do come to an end like way too soon. Like, and then a lot of adults, are just so unhappy. And I just look at their pastimes, and yeah, so the gym is a great, and it's harder too. I can't relate much to people like that start later in life. I don't think it's ever too late, but I mean, what fun. I think a lot of people miss out, and then they can't. It's such work for them to do the work, because it is work. It is hard,
Yeah.
but it's a different appreciation. It's a different type of work when you've grown up doing it.
Yeah.
It's like what it's like what you seek, the feeling that you seek after. It's yeah, it's all of that. So and I'd say there's all kinds of you could go all kinds of different avenues with it, and what all our brain produces, all the different hormones and feel good and
Yeah.
all of that too. So yeah.
it reminds me of, I think I've said this before, but there was the guy at my gym years and years ago who sold personal training had told me that he asked me one time, he says, Deb, you know who the easiest person to sell personal training to is? And I said, who? And he said, it's a young girl who knows what it looks like and feels like to be healthy. And he's like, they want to hold on to that. So they want to buy these memberships. But somebody who's 35, 40, 40,
Yeah, you got to convince them.
yeah,
Yeah.
that it's worth giving up the lifestyle they've created and hated,
Right.
and that the risk reward, the effort versus the result. So yeah, it sounds like you've found great ways to celebrate your athleticism your whole life. So I'm like, wishing you the best year. So do you guys have plans for 2021 already? Do you have a show picked out or anything?
Um, I actually don't. I feel very strongly with, which I don't know how much longer you want this interview to go on, but with how unpredictable the world has been, and
Yeah.
with how much, it's, even though I've still been busy and I haven't skipped a beat, it's still been like, whoa, and it still made you take steps back, and it still made you think more.
Yeah.
That, like, I guess I'll just cut to the chase. I would like to get my boobs done, despite all the breast implant illness stuff, despite all of, the negative rap. It's just funny because, I've two things. I think I've been able to think, okay, what's held you back? Two things. My work, I'm always concerned about what are you going to do about, your work? You're going to have to take off. You're going to have to fix. I always have put work very, very high up. I am a very hard worker. I mean, I started working when I was like, I started teaching gymnastics classes like at like 13, I guess. So I've always worked, and I've worked so much that it's just like, it makes you, because this makes you realize, like, that can be taken away. Okay, why am I prioritizing this much? And we all have to work, we all have bills we have to pay, but it's like, why am I letting that like not ever me make go through with a decision? And then two was competing. Well, it's never convenient. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to take off the gym, and I'll probably, like, yeah, like, yeah, there's a lot of unknown, right? But it's like, well, I don't even know when a show is going to really happen. Is it really going to happen? I don't know. And like, well, you haven't made it to the Olympia 2 years now. Like, I don't know. Like, are you even going to compete? Like, I'm just so all over the place. But then it's just really, I just keep coming back to that. And it's a silly little thing. And it's like, not like I'm doing it, like for any reason to like feel better about myself or anything. It's just like, looking back, like, that's one of the things. Like, I have a lot of friends that, like, as soon as they were out of high school, that did it. And like, I talked about it even then. And I'm very, I'm very in tune with my body. I get blood work done all the time. If any one little thing is like off in me, I'm like investigating what is this and talking and trying to find it out, whatever. So, I mean, I think I'm a really great candidate. I mean, I even went and like got genetic testing, if I'm a good detoxer and all this, because there's been correlation. So, I mean, I've done my research on like who to go to and what types and all this. So, and I've talked to Lord knows how many people, about it. And I just think, okay, like, I'm 36 now. Like, I don't know. It's just a silly little thing. Like, I've never even, I guess the third thing would be that, like, I am scared about it. But then I'm like, you know what, Autumn, like, you are blessed to have never been in the hospital or anything, or any surgeries or anything. And you've been on earth this long. So like, if you want to do something, just do it, and then deal. I always think so much long term, and I think about like all the trickle down effect and domino effect. Well, what about this, what about this, what about this? That I just don't even do anything. And I do that a lot. in life, like, and it's annoying. I blame my mom for this. Like, I can remember trying to go to college, like, where do I go? Da, 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 da. So, like, I just literally always did whatever my best friend that I thought was going to be president one day and still might, my best guy friend, I just did whatever he did. That's like why I was the president of all these clubs and did all this stuff and wrote scholarships and everything, because I was like, I know success when I see it, and let me hang out with this person and do what they're doing to succeed. So yeah, I've just always been really indecisive. And this COVID thing is just like made me realize, like, okay, like, if you want to do something, just do it. Like, and it's not the end of the world. Like, I mean, worst case scenario, like,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff could happen to you, but like, you just deal with it then. I don't know. It's just like these times are so unpredictable. It's like, why am I still like thinking about all these things that could happen, like no one knows. And I,
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyways, that's the plan actually. And my coach doesn't even know that I'm working with Dom from Team Muscle Egg. And but we've talked about it. I've said, that might be something that I do, and yeah, so he'll support me through it, and we'll get through it. There will always be shows. I mean, I know I'm getting older, and like, I know I'm not going to compete forever. I mean, but and it's still in me to compete. Like, I still plan to compete. I mean, our goal is to make it to the Olympia and figure this year. Like, that's our overarching goal.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many other people have this done, and like they're just like, it's one of those things you wish you would have just done a long time ago. Like, quit making a big deal. So that's where I'm at. I'm actually, and like, this just came about this weekend, because of different reasons. And I just, again, relationships and who you meet and stuff. Like, a friend of mine just had hers done. I worked with her, and she just moved out to our gym, and I'm like, whoa. And so I've just felt really comfortable with everything she's told me. So I'm going to reach out actually tomorrow and schedule my consults and stuff. So yeah, so we could talk about that for a whole show of, you know, the pros and cons of doing it or not. So yeah, I think the time has come for me. And it just gives me something to look forward to. Like, seriously, like, I mean, I'm scared and stuff, but it does give me something to look forward to. Like, in a world of doom and gloom right now. And it's kind of feels good to think, okay, like I can get work covered, and like they won't, like, work will still go on, everything will still go on, everything. You
Good.
just always make such a big, or I know I do make such a big deal about stupidest stuff. Like, life goes on. Like, nobody really cares. Like, and I think, what are people going to think? Or, I'm a Christian person. Like, I do believe, like, God blessed me with, a body, and that was another struggle. But I'm just like, you know what? Like, you wear like earrings, like you dye your hair. Like, it's like, I don't even think that he
Yeah, you
thinks,
have to,
you know?
yeah, you gotta live
So,
your life, right? So I think though that
yeah.
this year, with this break, I think if anybody was,
I
uh,
know it's convenient. Like, I'm like, oh
yeah,
wow, like Brent has some downtime too. And like,
yeah,
we don't really know about shows, and I don't know. Like I said, like, it's been, I mean, even though nothing has, even if you're somebody that has worked through all this and not a lot has changed in your life, and that's me. I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, it's just different. It's like, it's made you view everything differently.
well,
And if you haven't done that, like, I feel like, our baseline daily stress was like here, and now, just because you are like, you feel like you're in TSA like all the time, like, every second. So like, your baseline stress is here, so then when something actually happens, you're like really up there. So
yeah.
I think that a lot of us have had to manage that and reel that in, and do everything we can to lower all of our stress. So
Well, and I think
um, yeah.
what 2020 has taught us about, competing too, is it just really made people evaluate. I think we're going to have a lot of people who are on the cusp of retiring decide that this is it, especially because
Yeah.
now we have another year of not knowing what's happening with shows, unless you're just beginning your career and ready to put 5 or 6 or 7.
Grow and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
Oh, I know. No, I already know. And I know some of those top people. Well, I know the one has already been open about, a family life, but I know of a few others top people that, I talked with personally that are ready to go that direction too. I mean, we're females and, our window is closing on if we want to start families as well. Like bodybuilding is like this much, even though it's something you do every day. I mean, competing, like it's such a small portion of your life. So
Yeah, got to keep everything in perspective.
yeah, for real.
So is there anything else that you wanted to add? You wanted to shout out your sponsors, say thanks to them?
I was just talking about stress. New Ethics makes a lot of great stress relieving products, well, among other things, but a lot of good gut health products, hormonal support and things. So, really just going along with everything we've really talked about. I mean, I've been, willing to grow with this brand because I really believe in what it stands for, and just longevity, in this sport and beyond.
Jason's an amazing person. Jason Theobald.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, full of knowledge. Yeah, and then like I said, Muscle Egg, my flavored egg whites. I have been with them ever since winning the Arnold back in the day. They're very awesome. Who CJ I already mentioned, Kenny Wallach. Shoot, I should have made a list for this too. I know I'm forgetting things. Stage Ready Hair helped me for a good. I've finally got my own hair back, which has been like can be another huge show in itself. But Protan, I've always been with Protan ever since that, first show. Yeah, so
awesome.
I have a clip store on HD Physiques. He's a great buddy of mine. We're still, doing things together. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something very important of a type of sponsorship, but I appreciate them all. And, I just cherish every, thing that's opened or closed for me. I know it's for a reason. And yeah, Just Right Eating, they give us, they help us out with our meal prep. Like that's very nice.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to say that I'm just going to let you go. What do you got going on? You guys trained earlier, so that.
Yeah, I actually left Brent at the gym because I needed to meet with you. I'm like, I cannot push it back again. I've got to go. So we're actually cleaning house. We we clean our own house now. We stopped paying for that. Actually, whenever he got a prep coach, that was the deal. Like, well, we can clean our own house. So yeah, thank you, Chad Nichols. Now I have to clean my own house, but no, Brent's great. He helps out. Like, it's not that big of a deal, and it can be done the right way. And we know what gets done because you can't trust people to do their job. You can't. I'm like, I'm really low maintenance, but I would tell people, okay, listen, when I say I've not dusted, just know like it's not been dusted since you were here last. So like, please dust because like it's been a while. And then you'd be like, nope, no dusting. So
I have a cleaning company. I know that it's very hard.
Do you? I didn't know that. Yeah. So it's like, man, I don't know. And then I just got to where like I was just like, okay, I guess it's me. Like I guess I'm just hard to deal with. I don't know. So this is just better anyways.
There's a method that so you don't miss anything. So obviously somebody wasn't doing their job.
I know, but when you miss it like routinely, you know what I mean? And then like when you like, and I'll be like, if you run out of time, like please at least just like start with the bathrooms, like clean our bathrooms. Cause that means that it goes from like, twice as long. It's going to be twice as dirty next time.
Yeah.
And you come home and there's like soap shreds in your like floor of your shower. Like, no, can't clean that. There's no way.
Yeah, it sounds like you just had somebody who wasn't doing their job, because we have a whole method of cleaning it. I mean, I don't do residential
Checklist. Check
anymore,
it
but
off, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a whole
Cool.
method to
Well,
make.
you need to teach other people and train other companies.
That'll be my next YouTube videos. How to clean your
Yeah.
toilet in 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, it's probably time for a meal or something. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna let you go. But it's been really nice. Thanks for taking the time. And I know you were late and you alerted me, which I love. I just want to say, because I try to turn these videos out at least one a week, sometimes two a week, and I overbook because people cancel all the time. So if there's no videos, I just want people to know it's not my fault.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for having me late. I know you had to make changes in your schedule, so
it's all
thank
good. It's all good.
you.
So, well, I just want to say to remember that healthy looks different on everybody. And thank you, Dr. Autumn Swansen, for being on the Women's Maximum Fitness podcast. And
Anytime.
hope you have a really great rest of your night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.